Good evening. Welcome to tonight's Brighton Town Board meeting. It's April 13, 2022, and I want to welcome everyone here tonight. We will begin the open forum portion of our meeting shortly, when members of the public will have the opportunity to share their comments with the town board. If you're watching us on YouTube or on our cable access channel, you'll have to log into Zoom in order to access the open forum. There are detailed instructions for doing that on the Town of Brighton webpage, which is www.townofbrighton.org. We do continue to make our meetings accessible to the deaf and hard of hearing community with our ASL interpreters. As always, tonight our interpreters are Allie and Heather. Thank you both so much. Just as a reminder, the agenda for tonight's meeting, as well as all of the materials we're looking at in making our decisions tonight, and it's a pretty big packet, they're all available on the Town of Brighton webpage. I'm going to start the meeting with the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, if you can screen share the Earth Day proclamation, please. Thank you. Paula? Whoop. There you are. Okay. Earth Day will be on April 22nd. This is our last town board meeting before Earth Day. So I have this proclamation tonight. Whereas, on this day in 1970, 20 million Americans, 10% of the United States population at the time, took to the streets, college campuses, and hundreds of cities to protest environmental ignorance and demand a new way forward for our planet. And whereas Earth Day is now the largest civic observance in the world, with more than 1 billion people in 192 countries participating in Earth Day activities each year. Whereas the theme for this year's Earth Day is Invest in Our Planet, focusing on the need for businesses to act now to preserve and protect our health, our families, and our livelihoods through environmental innovation. Whereas smart companies are discovering that there is no longer a choice between going green and growing long-term profits, instead recognizing that sustainability is the path to prosperity. In fact, it is truly the path. We aren't going to have any choice. Whereas climate change represents the biggest challenge to the future of humanity and the life support systems that make our world habitable, and the urgency has never been greater for renewing our commitment to sustainability. Whereas the town of Brighton is deeply committed to a healthy environment, as demonstrated by the town's 100% renewable community choice aggregation electricity program, the development of our climate action plan, and our commitment to expanding our trail system and promoting alternative modes of transportation. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, William W. Maley, Brighton Town Supervisor, on behalf of all the members of our town board, do hereby declare April 22nd, 2022 as Earth Day in the town of Brighton, and ask that each of us embrace the power of our community to create a healthier planet. And as you see, it is signed this 13th day of April, 2022. Thank you, Paula. Following up on that Earth Day proclamation, I want to thank everyone that participated in the community input meeting on Brighton's climate action plan. last week. The team from Barton and Lojudas, our consultants in that plan, made a great presentation about the plan, and there was a lot of feedback received from the community about the plan, as well as aspirations more generally for making Brighton an even more sustainable community. I want to thank our staff, especially Everett Garcia, and our Volunteer Sustainability Oversight Committee. Brighton is the leader in the Rochester-Monroe County area in sustainability initiatives. And I look forward to continuing the work that we do on our climate action plan, guiding us towards even more opportunities to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions and do our part to meet the critical goals established in the Paris Climate Accords to slow and stop and reverse climate change before it's too late. Before we get to the open forum, I just want to skip ahead and reference an item of communication. The first item of communication you see tonight is correspondence from Brittany Tate, Stacy Bartle, and Stephanie Rankin from Rochester Gas and Electric. In that letter, RG&E indicates that they are withdrawing their request for a temporary amendment to the town's noise law to allow night work to be done by RG&E's contractor on a significant gas main project along Winton Road from Palmerston near Highland Avenue down to Newton. I wanted to bring this to everybody's attention now because if there's anyone that is here to speak to that public hearing, I just want to let you know that that public hearing will not be held. You may recall that the town board held a public hearing in the matter. At that time, we heard some neighborhood concerns and questions, and the town board asked a number of questions of our own. The public hearing was tabled to give RG&E time to answer some of those questions and provide additional information to the town. Since that time, representatives from RG&E and the town have held additional meetings, and we've now received this letter from RG&E advising us that they are no longer planning on doing night work. So they are withdrawing their proposal, they're withdrawing their request for an amendment to our noise law. I do want to talk a little bit about the plan, the revised plan for the project, because it will still be a significant project and will have some very significant impacts along the Winton Road corridor. RG&E's current plan is for their contractor to work 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, starting April 18th, and they're going to be starting at the north end of the project near the corner of Winton and Palmerston. They still anticipate continuing their work through the construction season, probably into November. As I mentioned, the project will still have significant impacts on the Winton Road corridor, but the elimination of the night work will alleviate one of the biggest concerns that we had about the impacts of that project. Now, while the contractor is working north of the 12 corners, southbound traffic on Winton Road will be detoured at Highland during the day while they're working. Traffic on Winton will be one-way northbound between Monroe and Highland. Southbound traffic on Winton Road will be directed west on Highland Avenue down to Monroe, where you'll turn left on Monroe and go down Monroe to the 12 corners and then go on whatever direction you're intending to. There will be signage. RG&E's contractor will be putting that signage in place each day that they're working. because that detour will only be in effect during the daylight hours while they are working on that project. Residents received a notification of their plans for the project. Their plan has changed somewhat based on the elimination of the night work. But as I said, it will continue to impact residents in the nearby neighborhoods, particularly folks living on Winton Road itself. There may be times, if you live on Winton Road, when your driveways, particularly on the west side of Winton, are temporarily blocked for a short period of time. Now, the plan is that the contractor will notify residents anytime that's going to happen. You'll be encouraged to park your cars that day on one of the nearest cross street. But in an emergency, if for some reason your car is not there on the side street and you need to get your car out, arrangements will be made to give you access to your driveway. This project involves replacing a gas main. It's a distribution main that is over 70 years old. And obviously the concern is they want to replace it to avoid leaks or other failures in the main. I'm pleased that RG&E has made this decision to proceed with the work during the day. I do believe it will be less disruptive to the community. And I anticipate working with their team as the work progresses to minimize those community impacts. We're going to ensure that at the end of the project, we have a fully repaved Winton Road with all disturbed lawns and other areas fully restored. So in case that anybody is here to speak to that public hearing will not be held tonight. And again, there will not be night work going on. Okay, now we will go on to the open forum. The open forum, as we do at every meeting, it's an opportunity to address the town board about matters relating to the town of Brighton, whether or not they're on our agenda this evening. We may not respond to your questions, particularly if they relate to matters that aren't on the agenda tonight, but I assure you that we listen and take your input seriously. If you would like to address the board during the open forum, again, I mentioned before, you must join the meeting on Zoom if you haven't already done so. If you'd like to speak during the open forum, please use the Zoom raised hand function. And when you're called on, you'll be unmuted and have the opportunity to speak. Each speaker will have up to 3 minutes to address the board, and I'll advise you when you have 30 seconds left. Please address your comments to the board and not to other speakers. Please do not use the open forum to make personal attacks of any kind. Our goal here tonight and during the open forum is to give you the opportunity to share your thoughts with the board and for us to listen thoughtfully to your input. So we'll now begin the open forum. And Bridget, is there anyone wishing to speak to the board tonight during the open forum?
Yes, our first speaker is Jeff Schwartz.
Go ahead, Mr. Schwartz.
Thank you very much,
evening.
Mr. Supervisor, members of the board. I'd like to speak on the Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity Advisory Board. I've lived in Brighton for over 50 years and have not seen any of the problems that this board seems to want to address. I haven't read about any of them. I haven't seen any problems on TV. I should point out I'm surrounded by diversity. Out of my door are people of Indian descent, Koreans, and Chinese. This is a small town of 36,000, not a large city. The density, peace and quiet, educational system, parks have attracted these people. In fact, you as the board and the town supervisor and the town itself has succeeded already in achieving all of the goals set up by this proposed plan. You have a great population mix. You've been able to draw from as more than any other town in the area in terms of diversity. This will not be improved by having a diversity officer or subsidized housing or intentionally not hiring Brighton residents to do Brighton work. If you advertise all the present diversity you have, that should be enough to set our place in the world in the Rochester area. By setting up a board and a person to deal with diversity, I think you're saying to the world that we have not come together naturally, that we had to be coerced in some way, shape, or form. The current town board already supports all of the, and has all of the tools needed to provide for the benefits that this board is looking to provide. And you can do it without additional taxpayer money or expense or hiring. I notice on the agenda is $52,000 towards a consultant for this project. Plus, I'm sure there would be hiring involved and a lot more rules and regulations, none of which will enhance the population of the town of Brighton. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Schwartz. I will be speaking about that position and what I believe to be the importance of that position and our diversity efforts later in the meeting. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board during the open forum? Hearing none, then we will continue with our business agenda, and I'll ask for a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Pardon me, Supervisor.
Yes.
I don't believe the people on the phone would be able to raise their hand. So I'm just going to give them the opportunity to unmute if they want to speak. They could indicate that they want to.
Okay.
I've given them the ability to unmute and neither are responding.
All right. Then I would ask that we go on with the agenda, and I'd ask for a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved. Christine.
Second, Robin.
Thank you both. Any discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Werner.
Chris, you're muted.
I think he's having trouble with his audio and trying to get audio via phone.
Aye. There he is.
There, we got you. Okay. Thanks.
Thanks, Robin. Councilmember Wilt.
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado.
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. As I mentioned before, we do not have any public hearings tonight. Can I have a motion to receive and file the communications? And I'm going to ask as well, because one of the communications, the communication from Rebecca Cotter, our recreation director, references a $1,000 donation from the legacy at Clover Blossom. And I would ask that your motion to receive and file the communications also include receiving that $1,000 donation. Can I have a motion, please?
I move we receive and file the correspondence and also authorize the acceptance of the $1,000 donation from the legacy at Clover Blossom.
Thank you. Can I have a second, please?
Second, Christine.
I already discussed at some length the RG&E communication. I'm really grateful that we continue to work to provide services for our seniors in the context of what is still a very real and, again, unfortunately surging in our community, a COVID outbreak. We are gradually making some in-person opportunities available thanks to a couple of our senior living facilities, including the Legacy at Clover Blossom, and I'm certainly grateful for their $1,000 donation to support the Grab and Go Meals program. We also have correspondence from Roger Cuva, a senior risk control specialist at NYMIR, the New York Municipal Insurance Reciprocal, which provides property casualty and insurance for the town. NYMIR recently did an underwriting inspection here at our various town facilities, and their letter indicates that they were pleased with what they found and our efforts to keep the town operations as safe as possible. And finally, we have a communication from former town board member Bob Barbado complimenting Brighton Police Officer Mike Romack for his response to an effort by someone bent on committing a fraud against Mr. Barbado. So a very nice letter expressing his appreciation for Officer Romack. We have a motion to receive and file those communications. Any further comments? Chief, do you want to speak to Mr. Barbado's letter and Officer Romack's work?
Sure. So the scam that Mr. Barbado was speaking about was just a moving scam. And what happened is he used a broker to move some furniture across country, and his furniture was basically held hostage. And the one line in the letter where, so the investigator Romack went, basically above and beyond. I would differ. That's the normal course of business for investigator Romack in our criminal investigative division. No crime is too big or too small for him. I'm glad that everything worked out. As Mr. Barbado said, it's not uncommon that, furniture may come up missing and never return. So I would just remind everybody, when looking at these scams, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Make sure that you're getting several written estimates of the moving costs associated with what you're trying to do, and do your homework. Just check references, check with the Better Business Bureau. And even with doing all that, there's no guarantee you're not going to be scammed. So just be cautious when using somebody that's not a reputable dealer, and maybe somebody that's not local, because sometimes the best price isn't always the best price.
Thank you, Chief, and please express our appreciation, yes, to Officer Romack, but really to the entire department, because I know that they do go above and beyond in serving the community. We have a motion to receive and file. Any further comments on that? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePoncio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner. No, I'll come back. Councilmember
Frisch.
Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Ken, can we take a visual cue?
Aye.
Oh, there we go.
We got you. Okay, now you're unmuted.
And Supervisor Maley.
Aye. Next, we have committee reports, starting with our Community Services Committee. Robin.
Thank you, Bill. The Community Services Committee has not met in the intervening timeframe since our last town board meeting, but I do, as usual, have some updates from our Parks and Recreation Department heads. From our Recreation, Winter spring programming registration is ongoing. You can check out all of the recently added spring programs, and we advise you to sign up early to secure your spot. Full program offerings and registration can be found on the Recreation Department website. That website is www.townofbrighton.org/rec, REC. We celebrated our Brickyard Bunny Trail ribbon cutting on Friday, April 8th at noon, and had our bunny hop party later that evening. But if you weren't able to attend those events, the bunny trail and the associated activities remain open through April 27th. So please do take the opportunity to check it out. Summer program registration for playground camps only is beginning. Resident registration began yesterday, Tuesday, April 12th at 9 a.m. Non-resident registration will begin on Tuesday, May 17th at 9 a.m. Then for all other summer programming, resident registration will begin on Tuesday, May 3rd at 9 a.m. and non-resident registration begins on Tuesday, May 17th at 9 a.m. Full details may be found online. And our Recreation Department would like to remind everybody that if you do have a program idea or skill to share with the community, you can contact the Recreation Department to find out how to be added as a program instructor. Complete the new program proposal on the Recreation Department website, or just give the Recreation Department a call at 585-784-5260, extension 0. From our Parks Department, we had a just very brief update that although parks remain winterized, outdoor restrooms will reopen for the season on April 21st. So bear with us. I know that the weather is improving and people are out there, but things will be opened up on April 21st. In addition, I just wanted to remind everyone, as Bill mentioned, on Tuesday, April 5th via Zoom, the town hosted its first of several public workshops and forums that we'll be offering in order to solicit community feedback on the town's climate action plan that we're developing with the help of our consultant, Barton and Judas. So if you weren't able to attend that forum, please check out the plan website. That website is townofbrighton.org/climate-action-plan. There you'll be able to review the town's draft climate action plan and the greenhouse gas inventory that has been created for the town, and offer feedback on your priorities for creating climate resilience initiatives that align with New York State's climate smart communities objectives and maximize positive outcomes for our community. Finally, I just wanted to highlight some upcoming events. On Saturday, April 30th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., we will have our DEA National Pharmaceutical Take Back event. That event will occur at the Brighton Town Hall Public Safety Wing at 2300 Elmwood Avenue. And then on Tuesday, May 7th, Tuesday, May 3rd, from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. At the Brighton Town Hall Main Auditorium, the Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity Advisory Board will be previewing the IDEA plan via community forum. So please do stop by and weigh in on that plan. And then on Saturday, May 7th, will be the return of Brighton Clean Sweep. That will go from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. There will be a few changes in programming to allow for more pick up and go or grab and go event programming. So stay tuned for that. And then on Sunday, May 15th, from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, will be the semi-annual Electronics Recycling and Secure Document Shredding event that will take place as usual at the Brighton Highway Department parking lot. That's at 1941 Elmwood Avenue. And the next meeting of the Community Services Committee will be on Wednesday, April 20th at 9:30 a.m. at the Brookside Recreation Center. As always, members of the public are invited and encouraged to attend. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Finance Administrative Services, Jason.
Yes, Bill, the Finance and Administrative Services Committee met last Tuesday, April 5th. Each of the items we discussed in committee appear on tonight's agenda and will be presented and voted on. And our next meeting will take place on Tuesday, April 19th. We meet at 3:30 in the afternoon in the main auditorium at Town Hall, and the public is invited to attend.
Thanks, Jason. Public Safety Committee, Chris? You're muted. There we go.
I'm very sorry. I'm having a disastrous computer problem. I'm trying to connect here through 3 different computers. So I've got one element on each.
This one's working. Stick with it.
All right. Let's go for I'm good. All right. We had a public safety committee meeting yesterday morning, and it had reports first from the Brighton ambulance, who reported on the number of calls. They had 691 requests for services throughout the month of March, of which 463 were within the district and served 268 Brighton residents. The Brighton Fire Department also reported on 653 calls year to date. They indicated no significant fires, but they did indicate that 16 people attended their last volunteer information center session, and from that, 4 have expressed interest in joining the company. 3 career firefighters are in the academy, and which will conclude in late May. Commissioner Guyan from the Department of Public Works reported that the lawn and garden pickup started Monday, April 11th, and to the contrary, I believe they started even a week before that, and they just passed by a second time this morning. They've gone, though, to their 10-hour work days, and they've started their road repairs and patching potholes and refuse pickup, not refuge in any event. The police department gave their usual report, but again, at my request, gave us a rundown on what's happening with the grab and run thefts that we're starting to see more frequently on the police blotter. These are quite troublesome, and they're quite bold, where people simply enter a place of business, grab a number of items, and walk out the door with them, and then flee, usually by auto. But it's something that they're continuing to look at, and they're continuing to combat. Henrietta Fire District also reported on their incidents to date as well. RG&E gas main replacement project was reported on via email, which we appreciated. And as Bill has already reported, they have decided that they will be able to proceed without night work, which is very good news for the community. But we're going to be tied up for a long time this season, but they are going to get it completed. Also, Chief Cathaldi reported on the catalytic converter theft task force, which continues to be in active review at the county level. We discussed a change of speed limit on Winton from 30 miles an hour to 35 miles an hour to Westfall.
No, opposite. Reducing it.
Did I say increase? Excuse me, reducing it. Sorry, Christine. But it would be reducing it from 35 to 30. And that's still under advisement through Commissioner Guyan's office. Jackie Marchand from Reconnect Rochester, and she also serves on our Parks and Rec Board, came in and reviewed the Reconnect Rochester bike event scheduled for June the 4th. They got a county permit pending, and there's going to be an 8-mile loop and a 33-mile loop. Just to broadcast the bike trails that we have in the community here. Also, there is a discussion of speeding on Browncroft Boulevard and at the exit from the apartment complex at Knollbrook. And the police department has given that extra attention and will it may post the Officer Smart out there as a first step to monitor the area for speed and volume, as well as added it to their special attention patrol list. Also, there was a discussion of reducing the speeds along Buckland Avenue, Newton Drive, and Danbury Circle to 12 miles an hour to match the rest of that neighborhood.
That was
Also-
quite the reduction, Chris.
25 miles an hour.
I'm and also like to report that I appear to be losing my mind tonight. I'm sorry, I'm flabbergasted by this computer. I'm working off of 3 different computers. That it would reduce to 25 miles an hour, consistent with the rest of the neighborhood. Also, at my request, we had a general discussion about the Hopper bike share program, and if there's going to be any safety issues relating to that. And the chief has indicated that they'll keep an eye on it, but we look forward to people using that service. And but they are just advised that those are motorized vehicles out there. At least half of them are e-bikes, and they should use caution. At the same time, Christine Corrado pointed out that the application itself knows you're a first-time user or an early user and will put you off at the lower speed. And ultimately, you can get up to the higher speed once you've gotten your bike legs, as it were. And then lastly, there was a general discussion just about readiness to deal with mental health calls or our general calls by our service providers here that involve mental health components. And I'm quite impressed with both the training at the ambulance corps and in the police department. They've got extensive programs. Also, the fire department has training in mental health as well. But the ambulance corps has the planning, their plan is to focus on this in an August training session. And we hope to get back to the community and perhaps hold a community meeting, just, I'd say, broadcasting how well-trained our Brighton service providers are, and also to describe how our police department and ambulance corps deals with folks in crisis that do have mental health issues. The next meeting will be on Tuesday, May the 10th at 0800 hours, and the public is invited to attend.
Thank you, Chris. And finally, Public Works, Christine.
Yes, Public Works met last week, Tuesday, April 5th. We began with an extensive presentation from Jewish Senior Life regarding the Summit Villa buildings. Jewish Senior Life is proposing to make an incentive zoning application for an expansion to the existing facilities at the Summit. The major improvements include the construction of 2 35-unit 4-story buildings with parking underneath, a 5,500 square foot theater and multi-purpose building, and a 2,000 square foot fitness center addition. And those amenities would be accessible to the residents, not the general public. The proposal also includes a realignment of the existing loop roadway and the construction of 2 additional maintenance buildings. The applicant proposed extending sidewalks approximately 1,100 feet from the terminus of the existing sidewalks along South Winton Road to the Brighton Volunteer Ambulance southern property line as an amenity. The town has also hoped to extend sidewalks approximately 1,700 feet along the south side of Westfall Road from where they currently end to the western property line of the Brighton Volunteer Ambulance. The applicant indicated that constructing that length of sidewalk on Westfall Road would be cost prohibitive, but indicated that they would consider the town's desire to install sidewalks on Westfall. The major incentives being sought by the applicant include amendments to the 1996 incentive zoning that would allow an increase in density from 8.2 buildings per acre to 9.6 buildings per acre. permitting 236 units in lieu of 201 units, and the construction of a 4-story building in lieu of the maximum allowed 3-story building, an increase in building height from the maximum of 40 feet to 50 feet, the installation of a 10-foot high fence for the proposed pickleball court, and the installation of a generator in the side yard. The applicant intends to make an incentive zoning application to the town board to determine whether the project is worthy of further consideration. And the project will be forwarded to the planning board for an advisory report if it's deemed worthy of further consideration. So stay tuned for that. We had an update on the climate action plan and the public workshop, or rather we had a reminder of the climate action plan public workshop that was held later that day. I hope many in the community were able to attend. It was terrifically engaging. It brought out some good ideas, good thinking from the community, and that plan looks like it's taking very solid shape. Matter regarding the Brighton Memorial Library, library staff have requested that a hygienist be available to perform chemical exposure monitoring while the library roof underlayment and roof membrane are being glued. That process can be rather odoriferous and unnerving. Town staff contacted Can-Am Environmental Safety and requested a proposal to provide the monitoring services. They have provided similar support during the installation of the town hall and public safety wing route. Can-Am provided a proposal describing their services along with daily and sampling costs. Town staff estimate that the cost to provide these monitoring services will be approximately $6,400. In another matter regarding technical code amendments that had been submitted to the Public Works Committee in March, there were no further revisions, and so a public hearing will be scheduled to review the technical amendments. There was an extensive discussion about unified solar permits. At the October 2021 Public Works Committee meeting, the committee discussed the possibility of implementing the Unified Solar Permit, or USP, application as part of the Clean Energy Communities program. It's something that the town has considered in the past. However, as we dug into the details of applications and the town's current process, the town currently requires that the Architectural Review Board review solar applications and does not allow ground or building mounted solar arrays, which is in conflict with the USP. Rob Richardson, the town's local clean energy community coordinator, reached out to provide an update and indicated that the town can adopt a modified USP form to accommodate the town's permitting process. In light of this update, the Sustainability Oversight Committee was interested in submitting a letter of support for the USP. However, after some discussion, it was noted that although the USP can be revised to accommodate language regarding the Architectural Review Board, say that 10 times fast, review and elimination of ground or building mounted solar arrays, it could not be revised to accommodate other standard building permit application questions, and therefore would result in multiple permits within the building department. The implementation of multiple permits which are not consistent with each other would cause confusion for residents and is not recommended at this time. We addressed the question of, will there be an Elmwood Avenue cycle track or not? The project at this point has been removed from the Federal Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. However, there may be funding available using the state's Transportation Alternatives Programs / Congestion Mitigation and Air Quality Programs. The Genesee Transportation Council is awaiting an announcement from the governor's office regarding such funding, and the city of Rochester is currently in the process of completing their end of the cycle track on Elmwood Avenue. Ideally, we will secure the funding for this cycle track extension into Brighton from the city line out to 12 Corners, making Elmwood Avenue live up to its designation as a New York State designated bicycle route, if you can believe that. So if we can believe that we'll get the funding ultimately and get that cycle track. I can't believe that it's a designated bicycle route currently, but that's Anyway, moving on, we also addressed the matter of the South Winton Road left turn study at 12 Corners. Stantec has prepared a proposal to investigate the feasibility of adding left turn lanes or protected left turn movements on Winton Road at Monroe Avenue. Stantec is confirming that the New York State Department of Transportation will entertain the installation of the left turn lanes if recommended by the Stantec study. We're waiting on confirmation of that. The study will not be authorized if the State Department of Transportation will not consider the recommendations of the analysis. In the last matter, we have scheduled a presentation by Stantec of the Reconnect Rochester Complete Streets Makeover Monroe Avenue Design Treatment. That presentation will take place at the next meeting of the Public Works Committee, which is scheduled for May 5th at 9 a.m. at Town Hall. And the public is always welcome to attend, especially when they get to see presentations like the Reconnect Rochester design rendering.
Thanks, Christine. And that, of course, is a design rendering that the town of Brighton won as part of a contest to identify intersections or areas of streets with multiple intersections that could use a good design makeover.
Yes.
And
President Carl Marsilio made a very strong and
Yes.
compelling application to the Complete Streets Makeover contest. And we are the lucky winners of what Reconnect Rochester calls their consolation prize. But frankly, I think it is a pretty darn good win for the town, because we then do have in place, in hand, we have the visualization for what our gateway corridor could look like, and then we can work with the state DOT to implement it. So come and see it next month.
Christine, you indicated, and I know it's in my minutes, that the meeting's on May 5th. It's on May 3rd.
Yes, May 3rd. It is not Cinco de Mayo, it is May 3rd.
okay, thank you for all those committee reports. We'll move on to new business. Jason, reading and approval of the claims.
Yes, Bill, earlier today I reviewed claims totaling $408,729.94. Notable claims include to Barton and Lojudas in the amount of $10,022.68, representing payment for services related to the Climate Action Plan per board approved contract. Also to Henderson Truck Equipment in the amount of $9,808.61, representing payment for the purchase of various truck parts. Also to Lewis General Tires in the amount of $5,010.72, representing payment for the purchase of various tires for the highway and police departments. Also to Mangel Metzger Bar and Company in the amount of $8,000, representing partial payment for services related to the 2021 audit. And finally, to Saxby Implement Corp in the amount of $49,803.43, representing payment for Kubota Series tractor is approved in the 2021 CIP per contract pricing. The claims all appear to be in order, and I move that they be approved.
Second, Robin.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner, Councilmember indicated for audio. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Ally. Sorry. Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Manley.
Aye. Jason, if you do the next matter as well.
Yes, the next matter seeks to create the civil service title, Coordinator of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and amend the office of the Supervisor's Table of Organization to add the position Coordinator of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion / Chief Diversity Officer on Group 9 of the non-represented employees salary and wage schedule and appoint a person to the position. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the town attorney.
Second, Robin.
Thank you. As you know, last year, as we prepared the town budget for 2022, we included funding for a new diversity, equity, and inclusion position for the town, based on the recognition of the importance of Brighton's celebration of our diversity. We are a diverse community, but celebrating, enhancing that is a core value of our community. The draft idea plan, Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity Action Plan, prepared by our idea board and currently being reviewed by the community, includes a similar recommendation. You know, sometimes I hear people say, why doesn't government act more like a business? And you know, the interesting thing is government, particularly local government, is actually behind businesses. We're behind the not-for-profit sector. We're behind the education sector when it comes to making sure that we are adopting best practices relating to diversity, equity, and inclusion. It is an important part of our community, and it's an important part of our work to make sure that all the members of our community are in fact well represented and well served by local government. That's what we're trying to do with the plan, and that's what I expect that we will be able to do with our new Chief Diversity Officer and the person that I'm recommending for that position tonight. I think what's clear is, very honestly, we don't always know what we don't know. And we're going to be hiring a professional this evening, a person with very broad experience, both in the not-for-profit sector, but also in the private sector, in business. And I think that will serve us very, very well as we move forward. The person I'm recommending to you tonight is Miriam Moore-Burt, and I'm recommending that we hire her for the internal position of Chief Diversity Officer, although the title that Civil Service, that Monroe County Civil Service has given her, is Coordinator of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Ms. Moore-Burt's most recent position was as Vice President for Racial Equity at the YWCA of Rochester and Monroe County. In that position, she led numerous programs, all of which work to advance the YWCA's core mission, in their words, their core mission of eliminating racism and empowering women. And that is a powerful message. They have been one of the leading not-for-profit organizations in this community in addressing issues of racism and advancing diversity in the community. With your approval tonight, and I hope we will have that approval, Ms. Moore-Burt will start with the town next Monday, April 18th. One of her initial tasks will be working with the idea board and with our diversity consultant, Gwen Inc., to receive community input on our idea plan, to work to finalize that plan. And then once the plan has been adopted by the town board, to lead us in implementing the plan in a wide range of areas that you can read on the town website. I have no doubt, based on her experience, based on speaking with her, interviewing with her, that she is up to all of those challenges and much more. Therefore, I'm asking for the board's support tonight in hiring Miriam Moore-Burt as Brighton's Chief Diversity Officer. And in that position, she will be the first Chief Diversity Officer hired by any town in Monroe County. We do have a motion from Councilmember DePonzio, seconded by Councilmember Wilt. Is there any further discussion by the board on this matter? Hearing none, then Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. And I also want to let each of you know and to let the community as a whole know that tomorrow at 10 o'clock here at Town Hall, we will be holding a media event introducing Miriam Moore-Burt to the community and giving her an opportunity to discuss her work. And we'll be talking about the work of Brighton government in terms of celebrating and advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion in the town of Brighton to the benefit of all of us. This is not a zero-sum game. Okay, thank you for that. And we will move on to the next item. Chris.
Bill, the next item is to declare one 2015 and one 2017 Ford Explorer as surplus to be sold at a live or online municipal auction in May of this year. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Can I have a second, please?
Second, Jason.
Discussion on that? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye, and Chris, why don't you do the next one as well?
Bill, the next one is to authorize the supervisor to enter into an agreement with the New York State Department of Homeland Security for a reimbursement grant to cover personnel costs associated with participation in a local Homeland Security exercise. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Second, Robin.
Chief, would you like to say a few words about this?
Sure. So this is a yearly exercise that Homeland Security puts on throughout New York State. The state is divided up into different zones, and the one zone here in Monroe County, for about a 1 week period, they will go out and test businesses, conduct assessments of those businesses and the infrastructure surrounding them. And it's really to evaluate the businesses. If there's any suspicious activity related to terrorism or potential terrorism, businesses are instructed to call. There's an 800 number or 911. And it really just tests that, and it reinforces to see something, say something, and let the professionals investigate. We've been doing it for several years. The last 2 years, we have not done it because of obvious reasons due to the pandemic. So we want to get back on track and doing that this year.
Great, thank you very much. Further comment? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Robin, why don't I'll have you do the next two? They're both 4th of July related.
Certainly love to do the 4th of July related ones. The next matter seeks to authorize the supervisor to execute an agreement with the Sky Coasters for the 2022 July 4th celebration in an amount not to exceed $3,800. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the town attorney.
Second, Christine.
Any discussion? I think you can tell from the this resolution and the next one that we do intend again to celebrate the 4th of July. And it's an outdoor event. And although there may be precautions taken, we're going to invite the community out to a whole variety of events, as we always try to do, to celebrate July 4th again this year, including the Sky Coasters and including some great fireworks. So we have the motion on the Sky Coasters, motion seconded. Further discussion? If not, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye.
And the next matter seeks to authorize the supervisor to execute an agreement with Young Explosives for the 2022 July 4th fireworks display in an amount not to exceed $11,400. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the town attorney.
Second, Chris.
And again, it'll be a great show. Any discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Maley.
Aye. Christine, the next one, please.
Yes, the next matter seeks to authorize the supervisor to award a bid contract to Plant Concepts Incorporated for landscape maintenance along the Monroe Avenue GIGP project in an amount not to exceed $42,350 for a term of 1 year, effective immediately through March 31st of 2023, with two optional one-year renewals. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the town attorney.
Can I
Second,
second? Thank you, Robin. We've been working with Plant Concepts for several years. Mike, you've been satisfied with their work?
Very much so. If we need something, they get out there immediately to take care of it.
I know it's a challenge. Some of those, they're native species. They grow very well. So it can be a challenge. And I know they've been cognizant, particularly when residents raise concerns about visibility caused by rapidly growing plants, that they do try to get out there very quickly and respond and get them down to a safe level. So that's great.
Yeah, we also hope to address that this year also, Bill, some of that fast growing plant growth there.
Good. All right, motion and a second on that. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Maley.
Aye. Jason, the next one, please.
Yes, the next matter seeks to authorize the supervisor and his designee to execute all related documents necessary for acceptance and administration of a $350,000 state and municipal facilities program grant for the Brighton Memorial Library roof replacement project. I move we adopt the resolution as prepared by the town attorney.
Second,
Second.
Christine.
This is a project that anyone who frequents the library knows is important. We've had it's an older roof, flat roof, and eventually they do develop leaks, and ours has. This will fund a substantial part of the very, very important capital project to replace that roof. It's going to be starting pretty soon, and there's a schedule, Mike, if I recall, the work's going to continue right through the month of June, if I recall.
Yeah, pretty somewhere in that area, Supervisor. They push back a week here to April 25th to start.
Okay.
They'll start removing the stone, but it'll be June, July, somewhere in that area.
Okay. Good. We have a motion and a second on that, and we appreciate the support. We appreciate the support from Assembly Member Sarah Clark in arranging that grant. That really does make an important project possible. If there's nothing further, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Maley.
Aye, and why don't you do the next one that's related, Jason?
Yes, the next matter seeks to authorize the supervisor to enter into an agreement with Can-Am Environmental Safety Incorporated for the provision of air monitoring services during the installation of the Brighton Memorial Library roof in an amount not to exceed $6,400, and authorize the Finance Department to make any necessary 2022 budget amendments. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the town attorney.
Second, Chris.
And
No,
this was mentioned in the committee report earlier on about trying to address concerns about the odor of some of the adhesives and other materials in the project. We have motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
There you go.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Robin, the next matter, please. In fact, the next two.
Certainly, the next matter seeks to authorize the supervisor to enter into an agreement with Lou Engineers to perform a phase 1 environmental site assessment of a 44.32 acre parcel on South Winton Road to be purchased by the town in an amount not to exceed of $1,600, and authorize the finance department to make any necessary 2022 budget amendments. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the town attorney.
Can I have a second?
Second, Christine.
This is all part of closing on the purchase of the land, 44 plus acres near the corner of Winton and Westfall, and the environmental review that we will be doing as part of the ultimate financing of that project. Anything further? Hearing none. Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. And the next one as well, Robin.
Thank you. The next matter seeks to adopt a type 1 state environmental quality review negative declaration related to the purchase of 44.32 acres of land on South Winton Road adjacent to Buckland Park. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the town attorney.
Second, Chris.
Again, this relates to the financing of the acquisition of that land. And the town of Brighton, we, the town board, are the lead agency under the State Environmental Quality Review Act for this project. And this is a negative declaration under SEQR, the State Environmental Quality Review Act, determining that the proposed action financing that land purchase will not have a significant adverse impact on the environment, and therefore a draft environmental impact statement will not need to be prepared. Ken, I know you'll be working on the financing. Anything else you want to say about this action?
No, I think you wrapped it up nicely. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second then. Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. And then finally, Jason, I'll ask you to act on the bond resolution.
Yes, the next matter seeks to approve a bond issuance totaling $1,895,000 for the purchase of approximately 44.32 acres of land on South Winton Road adjacent to Buckland Park. I move we adopt the resolution as prepared by bond counsel to the town.
Can I have a second, please?
Second, Chris.
And again, this will authorize the issuance of bonds to cover the purchase price of the land, which is $1,845,000, together with closing costs relating to that acquisition. Any further discussion?
I just wanted to clarify, Supervisor, that amount was $1,895,000.
Yeah, the bond resolution amount is 95, which covers about 50,000 of additional closing
Thank you for that
costs.
clarification.
Yeah. Anything further? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Now we have some planning and building related personnel matters. So Christine, I'll have you do each one of these, starting with the
so.
table of organization.
The first matter seeks to amend the Department of Public Works Building and Planning Department Table of Organization by adding the senior planner position to Group 10 of the non-represented salary schedule and eliminate the associate planner position following the official retirement of Ramsey Boehner. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Second, Robin.
And much as we would like to, we can't vote no just to keep Ramsey from retiring. I just want to make that clear. I can't say enough about 32 plus years, I believe it is, that Ramsey has served the town of Brighton. To say he will be missed is a gross understatement. I've enjoyed working with him for so many years, and but I wish him all the best. And we do have to make some organizational amendments to somehow move on. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. And to implement that table of organization change, we'll start with a promotion for Rick DiStefano. Christine?
Yes, this one's a very happy one. The next matter seeks to approve the promotion of Rick DiStefano to the position of senior planner beginning May 2nd, 2022. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Second, Chris.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. And now a promotion for Jeff Frisch.
Last but not least in this series, the next matter seeks to approve the promotion of Jeff Frisch to the position of planner beginning May 2nd, 2022. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Second, Robin.
Further discussion? I would certainly, again, just say that while Ramsey is going to be a tough act to follow, giving Rick DiStefano the opportunity to move into the senior planner position, Jeff Frisch the opportunity to move to the planner position, we will be in good hands with the two of them. They do good work every day with us. So in that case, we'll have Dan please call the roll on that motion for the promotion of Jeff Frisch.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Robin, the next matter, please. Oh, sorry. Were you in the middle of a sneeze there?
Caught me just afterwards. Thank you. The next matter seeks to authorize the supervisor to amend the agreement with Gwen Inc. for consultant services for the Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity Advisory Board and creation of the draft Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity Action Plan by increasing the total cost of the agreement by $5,016 from $47,500 to $52,516. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the town attorney.
Second, Christine.
And of course, as with so many things, COVID has made the process of developing that plan more protracted than we had expected. But I can certainly say Gwen Inc. has been there throughout. They are incredibly capable professional team, and I'm glad we've had the chance to work with them. and they've gotten us to the position where we are, and I'm pleased with that. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mailey.
Aye. Jason?
Yes, the next matter seeks to authorize 2022 appropriations and 2022 reappropriations for capital projects in process. I move we adopt the resolution as prepared by the town attorney.
Second, Chris.
This is something we do every year, and I'll let Finance Director Paula Parker give a brief explanation.
Okay, so the 2022 appropriations are for some items relating to the West Brighton Fire Protection District and the dissolution of that district, along with the dissolution of the length of service award programs. We anticipated these costs, but we needed to appropriate them into the 2022 budget. We've got some appropriations in there for some small equipment that we're going to be purchasing for the highway department, the sewer department, and the parks department. So we would pay cash for those small pieces of equipment. And then the third items that we are, is really our housekeeping that we do every year, is we are reappropriating the unused or unspent funds from the capital projects that are still in progress. And we are closing 2 capital projects this year, Highland Trail Crossing and the parkland acquisition from many years ago. Those funds will be rolled back into either the debt service or back into the reserve from once they came.
Thank you, Paula. Any further discussion on those items? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mailey.
Aye. Next matter, Jason, why don't you do this one again?
Sure. The next matter seeks to authorize the supervisor to enter into a subscription agreement with ClearGov for digital budget book and capital budgeting software in an amount not to exceed $10,773.33 for calendar year 2022 and $11,840 annually for calendar years 2023 through 2027. I move we adopt the resolution as prepared by the town attorney.
Second, Robin.
Nothing gets a good finance director happy like some really great, helpful new software, some really slick new software. Paula, you want to talk about this a little bit? Because it really is slick.
Yeah,
you put it through
is.
its paces, and this is good. This is great stuff.
So ClearGov will not take the place of our finance system. First of all, what ClearGov does is it takes that data from our finance system, and we've bought 2 separate subscriptions. One is for a digital budget book. Now, we do a great budget book, but there's a lot of effort that goes into that, and a lot of our processes are old ones. This will bring this process to be more efficient, and the charts and the graphs and all of the detailed information, I think, will be superior to actually what we do now. And I believe it'll be more efficient for us to put together and more informative for the public. The second piece of the subscription is our capital improvement plan budgeting. And for those of you that know that process, we have the giant Excel spreadsheets that are on the ledger paper, which of course I love. You know me, I like to turn the page and write on everything. However, the other part of this subscription is going to bring that process also digital. And then the our directors and other staff that are putting these projects together can put them together in a digital fashion. We can assign scores to these, which will help the board make the determinations what projects to fund, what projects to prioritize, and what projects may have to wait for the future. So all exciting stuff. Yeah, it is going to be very slick.
It really is. And I think you hit on it, Paula. I know it'll make some of the work you do easier, but more than anything else, I think the public is really going to notice the difference and make some of our budget presentations a lot easier to understand, a lot easier to visualize. So thank you for identifying this opportunity. We have a motion and a second to approve that. Further discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Maley.
Aye. Jason, if you do the next one, actually the next two, please. No, just the next one.
Sounds good. Sounds good. The next matter seeks to amend the Finance Department's table of organization by adding the position of Senior Office Account Clerk to Group 4 of the non-represented salary schedule. I move we adopt the resolution as prepared by the town attorney.
Second, Chris.
Paula, go ahead. The Finance Department has been operating very lean.
We have been operating
lean.
very lean for over the past 4 years, and we've had some turnover in the office. And it seems that the planning department with Ramsey retiring is not the only department that's going to be impacted with retirements in the near future. So we are going to be in need of this position. The workload is just more than we can handle. And with upcoming retirements in my department, this position is going to be needed. So.
Thanks, Paula. We've spent a lot of time talking about this, and I agree with you. It makes sense. And of course, the Finance Committee reviewed it as well. We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Maley.
Aye. Robin, the next one, please.
Certainly. The next matter seeks to approve the appointment of Colleen Cook as a permanent part-time recreational assistant 3 for the Recreation Department's Seniors Program. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the town attorney.
Second, Christine.
Any discussion on this?
I just wanted to say that finance is not the only one that has been operating pretty leanly. Our recreation department as well has been operating lean, but with aplomb. So this will be a welcome addition.
Yes, it will. We have a motion and a second for that. Further discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Maley.
Aye. Next matter, Christine, please.
Yes, the next matter seeks to set a public hearing for April 27th, 2022 at 7 p.m. Regarding proposed Brighton Town Code technical amendments of the 2022 local law. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Can I have a
Second, Jason.
please? Thank you, Jason. Again, this is something we do periodically. Over time, we identify, as the name implies, technical amendments that helps our code better address the ongoing needs of the community. And what are being proposed is a number of those technical changes. We have a motion and a second. And again, this is just to hold a public hearing on this law, and there'll be some further discussion at that point. If there's nothing further, Dan, please call the roll.
I assume this is a 5-day notice requirement for this?
Yes, it is. Ken, is that?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
5-day notice, and needs to be, the reason we have the entire law before the town board is it needs to sit on the town board member's desk for a designated period of time as well prior to them voting on it. So the April 27th date should work fine.
Nothing further. Please call the roll.
Councilmember DePoncio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Christine, I'll ask you to do the next one as well.
Happy to do so. The next matter seeks to approve an amendment to the incentive zoning approvals for the summit to allow for the construction of up to 70 new residential units, together with awarding new incentives in exchange for new amenities offered by Jewish Senior Life. All is set forth in detail in the package before us. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Second, Chris.
And
I'm
Bill,
going to ask Ken, yeah.
if I could just make a clarification here. So this is not approving the amendment of the incentive
No,
zone.
it's not.
This is simply asking the board to make a determination under our incentive zoning code to decide whether this proposal from Jewish Senior Life is worthy of further consideration as it's now put together. Staff has been working with the behind the scenes in getting the documents in order, getting the proposals modified. I'll talk just very briefly about what those negotiations have yielded and what is before you. And then maybe Mike, you can comment a little bit on the preliminary engineering indications that have been provided, which is a necessary finding as well. But as you mentioned, Christine, in your committee report, the proposal is to amend the incentive zoning approvals, essentially overact the summit portion of the Jewish Senior Life project to add 2 4-story buildings, each of which would house 35 new units for residences. And in addition, to add to the summit complex, a 5,500 square foot multi-purpose room / theater, a 2,000 square foot fitness center, and 2 1,400 square foot maintenance and storage buildings. So that's basically what the project entails. And in order to get those approvals, JSL is offering amenities to the town because there will be needed new incentives. And again, Christine, I think you outlined virtually all of what those incentives were that JSL was seeking: an increase in density, an increase in the total number of units, a decrease in the setback from Meridian Center Boulevard, an increase by 1 story in the height of the 2 buildings, an increase in the actual height, so going to 4 stories from 3 stories, going to 50 feet from 40 feet, an increase in the height of a fence for surrounding their proposed pickleball court, putting an emergency standby generator in their side yard, allowing their accessory buildings to be 1,400 square feet instead of 250 square feet each, and allowing the accessory buildings to be 24 feet in height instead of 16 feet in height. Those are the incentives that are being asked for. And the amenities being offered, and these have been under heavy discussion and negotiation with JSL, and we're very pleased to report to the board and very pleased that JSL has agreed to offer to the town to actually design and build. And I want to emphasize that design and build is our understanding. 1,100 linear feet of sidewalk along South Winton Road and an additional 850 linear feet of sidewalk on Westfall Road. That will effectively cover the entire length of South Winton Road in sidewalk from where the sidewalk now terminates, which is near just slightly north of the expressway, and go up to the border of the Brighton Volunteer Ambulance property. Brighton Volunteer Ambulance has previously committed to constructing a sidewalk around the corner on their property frontage, both on South Winton and on Westfall Road. And then JSL would build another 850 linear feet of sidewalk up Westfall towards Buckland Park, leaving a gap for us to then hopefully connect in some future iteration of what that sidewalk would be. That's one of the amenities. The other amenity is that under a previous amenity agreement, JSL is committed to paying an additional amenity payment each and every year of $170.86 per unit. That's what the current cost is to JSL. That is adjusted by CPI each and every year and will, of course, go up as CPI goes up. And that amenity payment would roll into effect 1 year after the issuance of a C of O on each of the new residence buildings for this phase of the project. So that is the incentive and amenity summary. Mike, I don't know if you want to spend a little bit of time under the incentive zoning code. Part of the determination is whether the applicant has given an adequate preliminary indication that water, sewer, transportation, and the like will be adequate to handle the new project as well.
Sure, Ken. We have been working with the applicant. They have provided preliminary information that indicated that the sanitary sewers and the water have adequate capacity to serve the project. They also did some traffic counts, which demonstrate that the traffic generated by this development is actually less than what we would have anticipated from the overall development based on the 1996 EIS. So they have met all the standards of the incentive zoning requirements as far as indicating whether they have adequate utilities. So they have provided that information for us.
In our next step under the code is for you, the board, to determine whether you believe that this proposal now in front of you is worthy of further consideration. And if it is, to then refer it to the planning board for the planning board to review and issue an advisory report back to the town board relative to this project. And that's where we are procedurally, and that is what the resolution before you proposes to do.
And I just want to acknowledge a lot of hard work, Ken, that you have put in, Mike, that you and your department have put in on this project, making sure that we were able to first develop this revised proposal, or that JSL was able to develop this revised proposal, and that you were able to review it and make the recommendations that you're making tonight. I certainly also want to express that Mike King, the CEO, executive director, I can't remember what his exact title, and his team at Jewish Senior Life have worked very hard to understand and accommodate the objectives that we've laid out in a lot of meetings. And I always appreciate people working together in good faith. This is the first step in the process towards amending that pre-existing incentive zoning project. But it is an important first step. And again, I just want to thank everybody that helped get us down the road to this point. We have a motion and a second. Any further comments or questions by members of the board? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mailing.
Aye. And Christine, I'll let you do the last one as well.
Sure. The last item seeks to approve the appointment to the Conservation Board of Rebecca Negley, effective immediately for a term extending through December 31st of 2023. I move that we approve the, oh my goodness, the train just derailed. I move that we approve the proposal before us.
Second.
As we do with the Conservation Board, Christine, as the board liaison to the Conservation Board, Dennis Adams, the chair of the Conservation Board, and I interviewed a number of very worthy candidates, but we're really impressed with Rebecca's commitment to urban land use planning in particular. And I think she's going to bring some great perspectives and energy to the board. So I wholeheartedly, as I know Christine, you do, and Dennis, the chair, each one of us felt that after talking to some very good candidates, Rebecca was the candidate we wanted to recommend to you. So if there's nothing further, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mailey.
Aye. Matters of the supervisor. Really, the only thing further is to note that at our next meeting 2 weeks from tonight, on April 27th, I will be presenting the supervisor's annual State of the Town message. I will also say that at this point, we don't quite know what that meeting is going to look like. The current extension of the modification to the open meetings law allowing for these remote meetings will expire between now and then. And, you know, your guess is as good as mine as to what that meeting is going to look like. But one way or another, whether it's in person or remotely or some hybrid of the two, we will meet again at 7 o'clock on the 27th. Matters of the town attorney, Ken?
Thank you, Supervisor. Well, that was all that I was going to comment on, and let me just put a little detail on that. The current extension allowing virtual meetings expires at 5 p.m. this Friday, April 15th. So we will see. The governor's practice has been for the last couple of months to wait until an hour or so, or maybe a half an hour after the expiration to roll out another executive order. I don't know. I haven't heard. I've been checking with our Albany sources. They don't know anything at this point in time either. So, and I just checked the governor's website just as you were making that announcement, Bill, and still nothing new up there. It's important, obviously, for us to be able to tell the public how we're meeting. It's important for us to tell applicants before our planning and zoning board whether they should be a town hall or virtual. But right now it expires April 15th at 5 o'clock. And our planning board meeting next week is on Wednesday. And I know Mike and your crew are anxious to know whether we're live or whether we're on a video conference. I don't know, but I will let everyone know just as soon as I get word from Albany. That's the best I can do, folks. I'm very sorry about that.
Thank you, Ken. Anything else?
That is all. Thank you.
Matters of the town clerk, Dan.
Nothing this evening.
Thank you. Matters of the town board.
Nothing further.
Then can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Second.
Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
And Dan, Hannibal Lecter keeps leaning into my computer here. Aye.
do you hear the lambs, Chris? Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mailey.
Aye. Again, thank you, everybody. One way or another, whether it's remotely or in person, hope to see you all again on April 27th at 7 p.m. at our next town board meeting. Until then, have a great night.